Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome to the Intuit Cafe. I'm going to be doing pick-a-card readings. And the reason I really love this tool is that it helps anyone tap into my ability as a card reader and then still using your own intuition to pick a reading that then will have the messages that are most applicable to you at any given time. When you have a really specific question, it's a lot easier for me as a card reader and an intuitor to get a little bit more accurate information. And then when you have that particular question come up for you, you have a whole bunch of different readings that you can choose from. Listen to your inner voice and then watch the reading. Your higher knowing will come through and basically in some way guide you to pick the right reading. So as I create these, I'll be using a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Lenormand, tarot, and some cartomancy with just regular playing cards. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching my channel, for liking and subscribing to it. I just really hope that you are as blessed by these tools that I'll be providing as I am to be able to provide them for you. Okay, so the first group of pick-a-card readings that I'm going to do for you, I'm actually going to be using regular playing cards, although this particular deck was specifically published for people who are using them for cartomancy. And the reason I'm using it is because it does have some things written on the cards, and I'm just learning this intuitive tool myself, so I have not totally flowing yet with all of the different meanings that the cards have. But I'm very intrigued with using them as an intuitive tool for answering questions. And of course, people can read playing cards and do all kinds of spreads with them just the same way that you would with the tarot. And there's a lot of correspondences between cards and playing cards and tarot cards, but there also are some differences. And one of the things that I find when I'm using an intuitive tool, and the reason I like to use different intuitive tools, is that a lot of times we get kind of I would say that any intuitive tool is kind of two-dimensional in that it has certain kinds of things that it tends to be able to say. And that, it'll say different things for different readers. So you'll notice this is one of the reasons why people, I think, love going on YouTube and watching various readers. I do it myself. I'm always watching other card readers. And every single card reader has their own style. They'll have different kinds of messages come through. And of course, a lot of those messages are really imprinted because of their own, just who they are. So they kind of give a third dimension to the two-dimensional tool. So that's why you'll see from one person to another. But even as a reader myself, I kind of get bored eventually with always reading one tool, because I think even I myself kind of get stuck with the kinds of messages that are able to come through for me with that tool, although I still will have amazing things pop into my head that I just say and turn out to be right. But sometimes I just get bored with it. So I'm using the cartomancy, and a couple of the readings that I really I'm excited to bring for you right now, that I will be posting several for, is that there's a really quick and effective way to get a yes or no answer to any question, which sometimes that's just what we want. We want a really clear yes or no, but I also feel like sometimes when I'm just pulling random, if I have a card deck that has yes or no answers in an oracle card deck that I have, that I feel like I want more information about the yes or more information about the no. And the process at which I will arrive to the yes or no answer for this particular reading, this pick-a-card reading, will actually give you a lot of detailed information that will help you even see, you might be able to see something like, you know what, it's a no for right now, but things are progressing in the way that I would like to see them progress, so that if I want to turn that into a yes, it definitely looks possible, and here are the reasons why. Maybe here's the suggested actions in order to get the yes eventually, or vice versa. If something is you want a no answer in something but you got a yes, then you can also see some of the things that build up to it and then be able to flip it around in order to finally get the conclusion that you want, where you might want to know. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play Aces High, and what I want you to do is I want you to think about a specific question you have on a certain topic. Now you might actually end up having more than one question that in the same topic that you might have answered here, and so you could assign up to 4 different questions here. So think about what questions you might have that you want to get a clear yes and no, but you'll also get some more insights on it. And go ahead and do that, and then assign your guess, assign your question to a specific suit. So for example, or what I was going to say, I highly recommend writing them down, because especially if you have more than one question, sometimes you might, actually forget by the time you get to the end of the video, and then it kind of ruins the, your ability to get an answer out of the cards the way you would want. So go ahead and write your questions down, and then we'll move forward into the actual pulling of the cards and how this works. So while you're doing that, I'm going to do a little shuffling. So what I did when I did these cards, sometimes I only had 2 questions and about that same topic, and I would assign just 2 cards. And other times I might get 3 questions, or maybe just 1. But also you can come back to this reading again, because it is, you can ask different questions with this. Now, once you kind of have an idea, once you know like how these turn out, and maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but if you know how they turn out, then you might not be able to really use this reading again. But you can actually learn how to do this for yourself. You can use a plain deck of cards to at least get the yes and no answer. And if you do start learning cartomancy and the different meanings of the cards along the way, then you'll be able to even begin to read more of that information for yourself. But I will also put up some more of these readings every now and then, so you just have a fresh one to use. So the way this works at this point is I'm starting with the, oh, I forgot one thing I need to do. I hope you had that all assigned, or in your mind you need to know which ones you want to do. One thing, you don't have to mix them up, because obviously it's not going to change the outcome, but I do like to have them mixed up just because it's kind of fun to have a reveal in the end where suddenly you're like, oh, that's the answer, yes, no, and you wait till the end to see that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to play solitaire essentially, and I'm just going to be looking for a 2. I have 2 2s here. And I'm gonna, what I do is I start from left to right and I place the first card. So I won't be playing that 2. Now, if I was going to be able to play again, I would want to have a 3, and there's no 3, so that's done, and we'll just set that aside. And the same thing here, and there's no 2 in that one, so that card deck is, that stack won't go any further. So here I have a 2, but I don't have a 3, so we're not going any further there. And that one I do have a 2, I have a 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's got quite a ways with this pile. Now we're going to do this a total of 8 times, and I will just go ahead and speed up the video so you get more quickly to the end. But in between times we do shuffle just briefly, just a little bit is all it needs, and then you can go ahead and start playing again. So here we go. See here, we only have 1 yes. That was a very interesting spread, and actually we'll get information about every single one of these answers here, and we're very close on the other 2, so it's looking good. It doesn't mean just because if you wanted a yes answer and you picked one of these, then it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll take a look and find out. So first of all, let's go ahead and start with our yes, because we got all the way to king and which ace that was. So those of you who picked the Ace of Hearts, the answer is a yes. And I will say too that the number 8 will like the average is that with 8 times through the deck, you'll get 2 yeses and 2 nos. So the fact that we only had 1 yes and 3 nos, obviously these came very close. You know, it's in the outliers, but that is just the case. All right, so let's take a look at what got us to this yes. First of all, if it's a question about love, it looks like overall this has gone really quite well. We have 4 hearts, so there's quite a lot of love there. That's, you know, a little bit under half. There's quite a lot of love here. We have 3 clubs, and clubs are a more positive card. So the hearts and the clubs are quite positive. The spades are the most negative cards in the deck, but we only ended up with the Jack of Spades, which really just talks about the personality, the character, and he's in the upright position. So it says someone intelligent, that has a sharp tongue. It does say bearer of bad news, but I don't really take a whole lot of stock in that. But well, anyway, it can vary between persons. So let's go ahead and take a look. It does look like however this started, it was quite a surprise and unexpected. And at the beginning, there might have been some opposition to it, but it does look like things like they really warmed up. And it does say here that you should take a little bit of caution in moving forward with it, but there's definitely love there. And then it looks like there might have been a little bit of time to take away to think about things. There might have been a little bit of feeling of maybe boredom or routine with it. And then the answer to that was to challenge yourself. And this isn't necessarily just everything in the past. This could be even right now in this situation. Even though you have a yes, there's some advice here. So it may be that you need to challenge yourself and adapt to some difficult circumstances that might have come up, and then make a clear plan on how to move forward. This situation has brought you new friends and associations, and also unexpected good fortune or good things that really came because of it. And your perseverance and determination really paid off. But be careful about unfinished tasks and disappointments that might come up in regards to this. If this is, whether it's a love or maybe a business or something else, this is just some advice here to be careful about. And overall, though, there's really a lot of joy and happiness and dreams coming true, like with the wishes fulfilled, and emotionally, and especially from an emotional sense with the Nine of Hearts. And it does say that your business and family are secure, and you might even be taking a trip that is in regard to this, and it is the beginning of a prosperous new cycle. And then what I really find interesting here is that we have the King and Queen of Diamonds. They're a matched pair. So if it is a love reading, it is saying that the two of you are very much like simpatico. You're really connected on the same wavelength. It could very much be a soulmate kind of deep love connection, maybe even possibly twin flame. But whenever I see the two are really the same, we're really talking about a couple who get each other. If this is a business situation or something with work, then the people that are working together really are on the same page with things, and things are going really well. If you're not to that point yet where you see this is just like the assurance that this is where it's headed. The current energies are headed in that way. Now, if you picked the Ace of Spades, this project just didn't get off the ground at all. And as you saw, we didn't get our first 2 until I think the second or even the last ones, second to the end. I think we finally got some movement on it at all. So, and it starts out with a new relationship or project, but then there's an ending of a partnership, separation, or ending to a stale situation. And I feel like and then it says anticipation of rewards or change. So it does look like something, and then something could move forward quickly, but then there were quarrels and a lot of wasted time and energy. There was suspicion and even suspicious motives at play here. So if you're wanting to know why this situation has gotten a no, those are some of the things. And it doesn't mean that it absolutely can't be turned around, or that you still couldn't get a yes on it if you wanted it. But these are the things you have to be aware of in order to be able to move that forward. Now here, we almost got to an end. Very, very close. We got an Ace of Diamonds, and we will talk about what's going on with this and see if there's any hope for this. I will just have to say overall, there's an awful lot of spades in this. So I feel like the reason we just didn't get to an end with this is that it just is something that never flowed really well to begin with. It started out with positivity. It was a new relationship, possibly a binding contract or agreement between 2 people. It could have even, been something like a marriage. Maybe this is somebody who's coming to the end of their marriage and you're asking, is this going to last, or is it going to work out or not? And I'm not saying that is your situation, but that just could be. Or it could be a business kind of thing, and you're wondering, is it really going to work out? But I feel like you already know that it's not going to work out, that there's just been a lot of really tough things that happened here. We had heartbreak, illness or separation may be indicated, a lot of issues and problems, and it even just says it's time to move on for the better. And then somebody is ignoring the need for recovery and after a bad situation, and again it could lead to illness, and business worries could be evident in this situation. So even if it's a marriage or partnership, there's something to do with, you know, their business or yours, or business between the two of you that are concerning. And this has led to a state of depression or feelings of hurt and anger and being discouraged. It does advise you to look past anxieties, because it does say eventual success is possible. But even an eventual success being possible, it may or may not be with, you know, salvaging this question of this yes or no for you. It could be just, you know, moving on is how you end up with success. It does say that you had victory over something that was a really big challenge, but there's a lot more work that's needed. And here, the diamonds are usually a positive card, but here it talks about petty misunderstandings and things. But there is advice that these may resolve themselves if you reflect on your accomplishments and stay on track. There is a need here to forgive, and because if you don't, you would have a lot of regret. There does say that there's a possibility of second chances. So if this is about a relationship, there was either a time already where you looked at the second chance possibility and you really explored that, and maybe that's where you're at right now and you're almost to a completion with that second chance. But what's still coming up now is like, is this really going to be worth, you know, pulling that king out and putting it on there, or is it better just to cut and go right now? It does talk about small problems become even more severe or complex. So, and bad luck in all things. Then there's misfortune and worry. And then we, you know, come to almost to the end and just to the queen. So I feel like, again, my belief about anything in life is you have free will choice. And in most situations, you're going to be able to come up with, you know, like if you really wanted to make something work, you probably could, although sometimes you just can't. And you finally, you know, acknowledge and release that and let it go. And there's a lot of information here that should help you with that decision. All right, and so our final one would be the Ace of Clubs. And again, we came close to a conclusion on it, but not quite, so let's see what happened here. It does look like things started out from kind of a financial perspective. A message of money is on the way, making decisions to better your situation. So this was really something that, you know, in the beginning, you felt like you know, have a chance here to make my situation better. It talks about acting responsibly and making mature decisions and not being impulsive and being really committed to something. Achievement and success after hard work, a new sense of self-confidence. There was some grieving over past disappointments and wrongs, but it suggests you put the past behind you. And this, you know, the spades are often a negative card. This is our only spade in the spread, and it's very positive. You are thinking in a new way with improvement in circumstances. Expect some new delays. So it could, I even feel like, because this one looked, at the beginning, I think it was the one that got it the farthest along the soonest. I feel quite hopeful that if you are in this situation, the reason you didn't get a yes yet is that it's just kind of because of this delays card. And then it says there's a hectic time with a possibility of travel, an important influential person is near, and good fortune. It does talk about not being a good time for taking risks. So if right now you're, you know, questioning about whether, you know, what to do to get a yes in this situation, it doesn't suggest, it suggests not taking big risks at this time. And then it does assure that lasting happiness and good fortune and inner peace are there. If this card comes up, it means that it has a huge impact on the surrounding cards to turn negative cards positive. And because I don't really even have negative cards in this spread, except that if you wanted a yes out of this and you got this no, I feel like this is just assuring you it's very possible to turn this into a yes. So, you know, really take a look at what it is that might need to be done. Thank you for watching my channel. Like, subscribe. And I will be bringing out a lot more of these pick a card readings, as well as I'm developing some other kinds of intuitive tools that we'll talk about in the future that will really put into your own hands the ability to tap into your higher knowing. And you know, as much as I want to have you keep on watching my channel, and I hope you always do, I also really want to see people have the tools that they need to develop and to get into their own intuition and looking for their own answers from within themselves. You guys have a really great day, and we'll talk to you soon.